Ken Burns' documentary, Jackie Robinson, just completed airing last night here on WGBY and PBS. Well, on August 16, 1962, less than a month after he was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, Jackie Robinson came to Springfield. Baseball writer and Springfield College professor Marty Dobrow sat down with me recently to relate that story and to tell us about a unique and little-known piece of memorabilia that resulted from Robinson's stop at Springfield College that day.
Robinson was on campus on August 16th, 1962, and it was for the centennial birthday celebration of Amos Alonzo Stagg, for whom the Springfield College football field is named. And Stagg is an athletic legend. He was part of that first basketball game with Naismith and the Peach Baskets. He's in the Basketball Hall of Fame here in Springfield. He's in the College Football Hall of Fame. He was a legendary college football coach who coached until he was 84. He lived until he was 102. And on his 100th birthday, there were 10 celebrations at places where he had some roots, some connection. One of them was here at Springfield College, and we were able to get as a keynote speaker none other than Jackie Robinson, just a few weeks after Robinson had been inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York.
Great story as you related. There being summer, not a lot of students on campus, but there's one recent graduate a couple of years back, young man who's a photographer, and he's watching very intently, and he figures out a way to get what he thinks is going to be a great shot. Take us through it.
It's a memorable story of a photograph, actually. And so the student was a man by the name of Spiro Kalakis from the class of 1959. So he just graduated 3 years before. And as you mentioned, there were not many college students around in mid-August of 1962. And so this was played out for an audience mostly of youth sports teams. And Jackie Robinson was always very impassioned when talking to children. It was a great cause of his. And this photographer noticed before the event, when Jackie Robinson was talking to the Springfield College president, Glenn Olds, that whenever he mentioned the word kids, that he would brighten with a special intensity. And he just waited for that next time, waiting. Obviously, pre-digital age, takes the shot, and what emerges is this luminous photograph of Jackie Robinson that really captures his heart, his intensity, his passion. Jackie Robinson regarded this as the favorite photo of him that was ever taken out of a baseball context. It's been on display at the Smithsonian, at the Baseball Hall of Fame. It headed up the Jackie Robinson Project at the University of Massachusetts in 1997. Which was the 50th anniversary of Robinson breaking the color line with the Dodgers. So it really was a famous photograph. The print of this photograph has been sitting for years, unobtrusively, on the second floor of Babson Library on the wall by the bathrooms, and escaping notice of just about everyone. I guess that's not what you're looking to do when you're in that neck of the library. And so it just happened to coincide that we had this opportunity to get this pre-screening of this documentary by Ken Burns, which is such a great opportunity for us. I mean, I have a phenomenal admiration for Ken Burns. I don't think anyone tells the American story more deeply, more poignantly than Ken Burns. And for him to be able to combine with Jackie Robinson, who has a great American story, is for us just a great opportunity.
One of the things that fascinated me about this story is this young photographer gets so intent into the event, he realizes when he can get this special shot and look that he wants and waits for it and gets it.
Yeah, he really seizes the moment. It's so exciting to see that drama behind art in a certain sense. And he captures it so beautifully in the narrative that accompanies this photograph. So it was really rare to see that, his excitement. There's a subsequent story about Kalakis, who just passed away about 3 years ago, that there was a fire in his home many years later. He went racing back into the home to rescue some negatives of a wedding that he had just shot and this prized image of Jackie Robinson.
How did you come to learn of this backstory to this picture that, as you say, sits to be observed but virtually forgotten in a way?
I just happened to see it one day and thought, boy, this is just fascinating. I'm always looking for these sort of stories that are lying in the weeds at Springfield College. I've sort of made part of my identity at the college about excavating pieces of the long forgotten past. There's so much richness there. And we have the great story about Martin Luther King's commencement speech in 1964 that was virtually unwritten about. Great story about Tom Waddell that we've been really trying to excavate the last couple of years. And then this one is just, they're sort of waiting for the right moment. This is clearly the right moment. So we're just very happy to have this coincide with this great event at the college.
We've certainly had, in recent years, we've now got the Ken Burns documentary. We've had the biopic, 42, about Jackie Robinson. And yet, do you think most people realize how really special he was, not just as an athlete, but as a human being?
I think they will once they see this film, because I think the great contribution that Ken Burns makes with this film is he shows us an intimate and vulnerable side of Jackie Robinson. You know, we're all familiar with the narrative of him breaking in with the Dodgers and all the prejudice that he encountered, all of his nobility and his courage. That's a great story. It's a commonly told story. What we don't see so much is the struggles of this man as a father, as someone who is trying in his post-baseball days to map out a meaningful life, one in which he would advocate for freedom, for liberation, for really all citizens, but particularly for African-American citizens. This was a guiding passion of his, and much of the story is told through Rachel Robinson, his widow, who thankfully is still with us at 93 years of age and was seen most recently down in Havana, Cuba, sitting next to Barack and Michelle Obama during that exhibition game a couple weeks back when the Tampa Bay Rays played against the Cuban national team.
The sad part for me is how young this man left us. I mean, a great athlete, man who clearly took care of himself, understood fitness before a lot of us certainly did, and yet died, I think, at age 53.
53, I believe is correct.
All of the vile things that were heaped upon him and all of the tensions that were around him apparently took their toll.
I think they did. You know, there were some genetic roll of the dice that, you know, we're not in charge of. We get a sense of how long ago that was because Rachel is still with us and is still this vital presence. And, you know, we are all cheated when we lose someone who is such a noble and inspirational leader so young. And that's true of so many people who have been our great civil rights leaders. I mean, certainly Martin Luther King we lost at 39, but both of these people and many more compressed so much living, so much richness, so much juice into a short life that it's kind of a gift that keeps on giving, and especially when we are able to sort of see it through the lens of an artist with the sort of vision and passion of Ken Burns.
Well, Marty, Dobrow, thanks for coming in. Thanks for helping us to focus in on a very special life that we're now seeing in Ken Burns' documentary, Jackie Robinson.
My pleasure.